From last night, Cavs Suns, Josh Jackson goes baseline before putting that down.
Now, we haven't seen many highlights of Josh Jackson. Man, I was so high on him coming out of Kansas. Has been somewhat of a disappointment.
Yeah, definitely. If the Suns can get Ja in the draft, then get a point guard, they've got the pieces to be a decent team.
Hornets and Jazz, Malik Monk taking the elevator to the top for this full extension alley-oop.
Devontae Graham threw it to him. That's another Kansas product, by the way. Getting some run late season for Charlotte as they try to make their playoff push. I feel like they're going to be the odd team out in the East. It's unfortunate given how well Kemba's played all year.
Another highlight from this game, Donovan Mitchell, the big windmill after a nice lob. It didn't count, but man, that was nice.
Gracious, what is he doing? Was he trying? I was totally shocked by that.
So the whistle had blown earlier. That's why kind of everyone's kind of paused to a jog. But this is wild.
Nice.
I didn't think he was going to do like that.
Oh, and he did it so nonchalantly. That's awesome.
But the lob was nice, too.
Every part of it. That was great.
All right, well, the season isn't officially over. It theoretically is for LeBron James. He's been shut down for the remainder of the season. All plans, talks, focus now shift to next year, which will be year 17 for LeBron. When asked how he will approach this summer, LeBron said, "I like being uncomfortable in the offseason. I like being counted out. It motivates me." Big dose of to each his own. Nick, what do you expect of a motivated LeBron to look like next season?
I expect him to look on the court like he looked before the injury this season, like he looked last season, like he's looked for the last decade plus, which is the best player in the league. This is I think, will shock people. This year in Los Angeles, not just before the injury, the whole season. Number one in his career in points per minute. Number one in his career in rebounds per minute. Number two in his career in assists per minute. On a per minute or per 36-minute basis, as productive as he's ever been. Now, defensively, we obviously saw major lapses, particularly after the injury when he was a downright bad defensive player. Leadership-wise, this was a miss. A total miss for him, and team building, however much influence he had on it, whether it was 5% or 50%, that was a miss entirely. Magic, Pelinka, and LeBron, whatever his influence was. But what I expect to see from LeBron is a more rested LeBron than we've seen in a decade, having 8 straight trips to the finals and now not even a trip to the first round of the playoffs. And the motivated factor is an odd one because I think he's always incredibly self-motivated to go be the best and to win a championship. But he has now the additional motivation that he hasn't had in quite some time of, oh, people are doubting how good I can be. And so I need to remind people early and often how good I can be. So that is my level of expectation. And if he comes out next year and doesn't meet it, then it will be, we are officially in a different phase of LeBron's career. But I'm not ready to say we are there yet.
Yeah, regardless of what athletes say, athletes are motivated by forces outside of themselves. The best athletes that we've seen, the greatest at everything that they've done, not only do they have typically the talent and or the focus and or the drive, but they have something in them that will create new things in them so as they get older that they get better. I remember in preparing for my 15th season, I thought it was going to be my last season. I remember my trainer doing some unusual training techniques to try to get me in the best shape possible. I remember my body fat being like 5.7% at that time. And at 214 pounds, I remember running a 4.5, 4.58 in the 40. It was the fastest 40 time I had ever run. And the only reason why was because these outside forces of saying that, man, it's getting ready. You're getting ready. Pass the baton to Randy Moss. This might be your last year. You want to go out with a Pro Bowl type season. So I was able to do things to my body that I couldn't do before. I think LeBron's going to be able to do that. I don't believe in extra motivation. I believe when you're already a driven person, when you get up in the morning, I believe you have the appropriate amount of drive for each day. It's just a matter of what bucket do you pull it from? Do I pull it from, man, I wonder about the people outside of basketball that are doubting me? Because you have your own doubts in yourself. What about my teammates? Can I be better for them? And then also on the basketball court, there was some deficiencies, defensive-wise, free throw shooting. So there are some things that he can work on. I believe he'll do all those things because that's who LeBron is. We can't expect that part of him to change.
The free throw shooting one is very interesting because I don't think he's ever going to be an 85 to 90% free throw shooter. We have 16 years of evidence that he's not going to be. But can he get back into the high 70s, 76 to 78%, where he was for the best years of his career, or at the very least into the mid 70s, where he was for the entirety of his career until the last couple of years? Because that's critical. And if you're going to be playing in big playoff games, that point or two a game difference absolutely matters. We saw DeAndre Jordan over the course of a 4-year stretch go from 39% to 48 to 58 to 68 to this year with the Knicks. Small sample with the Knicks, he's at 78. So we have seen guys make drastic leaps in their free throw shooting. LeBron going in the other direction at this point in his career, when his three-point shooting is going in a positive direction, does not make sense. And that is a part of his game that needs to age well. At the end of his career, he needs to be a more reliable free throw shooter. And that, to me, it's not just putting the work in, it's committing to a routine, and it's committing to, I'm going to get with a shot coach, I'm going to do what they say, and even if I miss 3 in a row one game, I'm not going to abandon the routine, which had been his problem. So that is a very specific point, but I think an important point, because there's no reason for a guy his height to be as bad of a free throw shooter as he is. The only all-time greats who were bad free throw shooters were guys 6'10" or taller, and he's not that size.
One quick question. You mentioned how productive LeBron's numbers were this year. I mean, far more productive than it's been in a while. Have we overreacted to the team's struggles? Because LeBron's been great this year, but we seem to have want to just douse the whole team because it seems like they're all going up in flames when he actually had a pretty good year.
No. If he's supposed to be the greatest player ever, as my partner says, no, this is what we're supposed to do. If he was the greatest player ever, he would have got that team to the playoffs. All right? Like, that's what this is about. It's about LeBron. Like, we can't add, he's not Kevin Durant. He's not Steph. He's not Harden. He's not Giannis. He is LeBron James. Right. And after 8 straight finals and coming to the Lakers, and now we're the second day in April, and LeBron's out of the playoffs, no, they deserve the heat because they made some critical mistakes. And one being announcing the AD thing, LeBron voicing his opinion on that, how it affected the younger players, how they put the roster together. Those were 2 really big mistakes this year for the Lakers. He
is absolutely judged by a different standard, and he should be. So playoffs or no playoffs, for almost any player in the league, if you go 27-8-8, in your 55 games played, people are going to say you had an all-NBA caliber season. Because it's LeBron, and it should be like this, it's okay, yeah, but in those 55 games you played, your team was 28-27, right, barely above 500. You're not going to make the playoffs. And by the way, second-team All-NBA, while a lot of guys that would be their crowning achievement of their career, for you it's going to be the first time in a dozen years you're not first-team All-NBA. It's going to break your record streak. So all those, we judge him by a different standard because we should judge him by a different standard.
Yeah, just like Devin Booker. He gets 50 on the Suns. LeBron's on a bad team. He getting 27-8-8 on a bad team. So we always discredit good numbers on a bad basketball team, and that's what the Lakers are right now. That's the reality.
All right, we got to take a break there. Coming up, a little more basketball. Are Kyrie and KD a lock to join forces here in New York? Next on First Things First.
I like it.
Nice ring to it.